Hello and welcome to Only a Podcast. Two blokes upside down and many miles from home talk about popular culture and unpopular culture too. Books, music, films, the news, what we had for dinner last night, everything is fair game. We've no idea what we're doing or why, but we're going to do it.
Hello everyone, this is episode 14 of Only a Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Hello Captain.
Hello mate. Kia ora koutou. I know you've recovered valiantly from your sick bed to do this.
Oh, a little bit, yeah. A little bit of the old COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all had a bit of COVID in our house, which is, it's quite funny. It's rife here now. It's, New Zealand went from no one's got COVID to everyone's got COVID.
Yeah.
In a really short space of time. So, it's hitting way down south here quite hard at the moment.
We are living with it. Yeah, I think it's kind of rolled off over here just a tad. It's still out there, but better than it was. That's all I can say. We haven't had it, but it could happen any minute.
Yeah. We thought we'd dodged it all this time, but then suddenly, bang, we all went down same time. So there you go, good fun. So my voice might not be its normal silky, sexy self. No. There might be a bit of wheezing and coughing going on today, but
you've
keeping it real.
Plenty of time on the sofa to culture up.
Exactly. Build a solid foundation. Yeah. So we don't have a theme for this episode specifically, but there's a bit of culture catch-up stuff going on.
Yeah.
We'll be covering music, TV, and books, I think, today.
Yeah.
Films. I haven't watched it. I did watch a film on the telly the other night. I've never seen it. Green Mile. Have you seen the Green Mile?
Oh yeah, I have seen.
Bit weird. Ended up being a bit weird.
Yeah, it does.
That was all right. Yeah. But that's it as far as films go. All right, let's get into it, shall we? I don't think we have any admin to deal with. Any shout outs to do or anything like that. So we'll just go straight ahead.
Crack on.
I'll start, shall I? So
go.
So there's a band out there which I think probably everyone's heard of. I don't know, but they're the big thing. They're the big deal. Called Wet Leg. Yeah. Two young female artists from the UK, from the Isle of Wight, I think.
Yeah.
And they were one of these kind of TikTok viral sensations, I think, with their song Chaise Longue. And they released their album a couple of weeks ago. And I thought I'd better see what the fuss is about. And I thought it's really, really good. And it seems to be a theme here. I keep, the new music I'm discovering lately is all young females. I'm not quite sure why that is, but I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, we do.
In fact, I'll come on to another discovery later, which definitely isn't a young female. So for balance, but Wet Leg. So I've watched a few videos of them performing live. They look like a good live act as well. I think they're coming over here.
Yeah.
And they're also supporting Harry Styles. He's coming over here as well, and I think they're the support act.
Yes, I managed to secure a Harry ticket for my daughter, so she will be there seeing Wet Leg also.
Yeah, mine really want to go to Harry Styles, but it's a plane journey for us.
It is.
Do you know what I mean? It's a couple of $1,000s all in. It's
Yeah,
so I don't think we'll be doing that. But I think you've got a slightly opposing view on Wet Leg, haven't you? I don't know if you're so keen, are you?
I don't know if we'd actively oppose, but it doesn't strike me so much as it does other people, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if I'm struggling with sort of straight indie at the moment. I know they're perhaps not as indie as all that, but I don't know. I'm just going through a phase, as it were. I did notice they were doing some of that sort of talky, not vocal thing going on. Yeah. So that reminded me a bit of a band I did and do like called Dry Cleaning, which is a sort of more declamatory vocals than. If that's the word, I don't know. Look it up,
a good word.
folks.
I have no idea what it means.
Then singing. They're not singing going on. There's and another one of my favourite bands from ages ago, now defunct, after 2 albums, a debut and a live album, and away they went, with featuring the amazing vocally stylings of Sue Tompkins, I think her name is. Life Without Buildings is the band. So they reminded me maybe just a tad of those two. But that said, they are actually going off, aren't they? Wet leg all over the place.
Yeah, they are.
I've not seen a bad word to say about them. So maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Well, there's no wrong and right. You know, it's whatever floats your boat, right? It's art. It's art, man.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I think we'd like to get up and see them with Harry Styles. I think that'd be quite a show, but I'm not sure we can justify that. We'll keep buying the lotto tickets and see how we go.
Yeah. Well, it's a couple of hundred just to get in for one of you. So,
exactly right.
Yeah.
Flights will be a few hundred as well, so it's a couple of grand, isn't it? It's not. I don't know. I'd pay that to see Jimi Hendrix or the Beatles, I think, but
yeah,
that's about it. Maybe Nirvana.
Yeah.
Another. I don't have much to say because there isn't much to say about this next lot I'm going to mention. It's a band called The Waeve, Waeve, which you may or may not have heard of, but they are. It's the latest project of Graham Coxon, the guitarist from Blur. And he's working alongside Rose Eleanor Dougal, whose name I didn't know. I don't really know who she is, but she was in. Looking into it, she was in a band called The Pipettes, and she's done some work with Mark Ronson.
Yeah.
So they've released one track on Spotify, which is just an instrumental. So I'm not sure where this is going. This music. It sounds like cinema music, but they're doing a couple of gigs. They're in London. They've one sold out, so they've added an extra date. In fact, one's today, and one's in a couple of days' time at the Lexington. So there's not much to say. They haven't put much out. They've just announced that they're here. But I've always got an eye on anything Graham Coxon does. Yeah. So have a look out for that.
Keep an eye on that stuff. Yeah.
Keep an eye on it. They're on all the socials. But yeah, it's The Waeve, cool. Waeve.
Yeah.
And finally, I'll crack on with mine, then you can do yours. Finally, talking about young female artists. So in my feeds, in Instagram and all that, I get this feed that I just scroll past, this clip, recommended clip thing that I just scroll past it. And I don't know if you had, or anyone out there has had the same thing. And it's an old guy, looks like an old man, right? Like he's got no teeth. He's a skinny, bony old guy. With a guitar, and I always scroll past, but I happen to stop and hit play, and you've got this guy who looks like he's on death's door from a rest home, and he plays this amazing music. He's got this amazing, almost Johnny Cash-like voice, and he plays the blues. Basically, he plays the blues. It's called Funky Geezer Music, aka Woody Williams, and he looks like he's about 85 years old. This guy. But he's out there and he's throwing out so much content, original songs, covers. But yeah, check him out, Funky Geezer Music. We'll put a link up and all that. But the opposite of Wet Leg, shall we say. But you just, the first time you see him, you think, how did that voice come out of that guy?
Cool.
So you might, if you check him out, you may think, oh yeah, I've seen that guy. I've seen his face, coming up in my feed. But always fun to watch. I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. It's good fun. He plays piano and guitar and various other bits and pieces. Yeah, Funky Geezer.
I've obviously not been scrolling Instagram enough because I don't think I've seen it. But who knows?
Yeah, it's all algorithms, isn't it? It's all about your algorithms.
Yeah.
So but have a look at him. He's pretty funny. Not funny. I mean, it's a funny experience when you hear him. Yeah. So that's my music. For this. This episode. What you got for us, Captain?
It's just I'm noting that record store day passed once again without me going to it, and that's fine. Every day is record store day, isn't it, really? If you want to go to a record store, then bloody go to one. That's what I'd say. You don't need a day to queue up. Maybe you do. Occasionally you do see something you think, I wish I'd gone and queued up and bought that, but not that often. But anywho, I did buy a record. We're talking about supporting local artists, which is all the more important to do these days because of the fact that they've spent the past 2 years not doing any gigs and trying to exist.
And it's NZ Music Month as well, right?
And it is NZ Music Month as well. That's another reason for doing it. It's coming up. So I I saw a track. I just fell for this hook, line, sinker, rod, bank, angler, and chair that you sit in. It was prompted by the lyric that I heard, which was motivation perfect, execution flawless, throw that dong like Lucy Lawless. When you get a lyric like that, you think, it's all right.
Yeah.
What is this? The lyric is from a song called Dildo Baggins, which is a song by a Wellington anarcho-punk band called Unsanitary Napkin, which is not in any way about Tolkien, but it is about an incident which happened on the 5th of February 2016. I had to look it up, but I remember the incident when the then Minister for Economic Development, Stephen Joyce of the National Party, boo hiss, Tories for you British people, was hit in the face by a rubber sex toy thrown by a protester,
Nice.
a particular heroine called Josie Butler. And this song is about that. And there's an album called All Billionaires Are Bastards, so that's good. It has 12 tracks. It lasts 21 minutes and 10 seconds. So you can record it twice on one side of a C90 if you're so inclined, if you have tapes. And the cover is inspired by an English anarcho-punk band called Crass. You might remember them from old punk days. So I thought, here's a band I'd like to support, and I bought this thing, and it's a great record. Doesn't keep you long, I have to say, and it's all good, pointed, funny, very fast, loud, noisy songs about politics done in a punk style. So that's my recommendation. On Sanitary Napkin, we're going to give you a link to Bandcamp where you don't have to buy anything. You can just, but it's a good idea if you do. You can listen to the stuff that they've done. They're on Spotify, I think. Are they on Spotify? Oh, no, I don't think they are. So we'll have to give you a link to Bandcamp. But that's my musical recommendation. A slightly peculiar one, I must admit. But
all good.
It's good. What have we been watching? Are we doing watching?
Well,
is that next?
Let's do telly. Yeah.
TV. Go on then.
Yeah, go. I'll go first, shall I? Well, a couple of things. So, got hooked into a drama, a British drama. I assume it's a BBC one, but it might not be. It might be ITV. I'm not sure. Called Our House. I don't know if you've seen the trailers for it.
Yeah.
So it's the trailer goes. This woman arrives home from work one day to find a removal firm moving a new family into her house, and I can't say too much because it would all be spoilers. But to cut a long story short, this woman's house has been sold under her nose by bad people. So it's one of those dramas, and it stars Tuppence Middleton. Best name in show business, probably Tuppence Middleton.
Yeah.
I think she was in Downton Abbey, and I know her face from stuff. She's great, and Martin Compston is in it as well. He plays the husband. He's from Line of Duty. So those two. It's 4 episodes as far as I know. I've seen 2 so far, and it's a real grip. At the end of episode 2, it was like, no. So it's one of them. Cool. So the British do good dramas like that. So that's a recommendation. I don't know how it's going to end, but halfway there, it's looking good so far. Speaking of great dramas, Killing Eve. I know I mentioned quite some time ago now that
you're a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan of the latest series. It's taken me this long to get round to it for one reason or another, but because of COVID, we got to spend a bit of time in front of the TV. So. Not quite got to the end of Killing Eve. There's 2 episodes left. We've got two to watch, but it's so good. It's really it's bang on form. It's season 4, I think this is. I don't know if it's the last season or not. I'm not sure. I don't know how it's going to end. But yeah, if you haven't watched Killing Eve, do give it a try. It's really very good. Cool. And finally, came across a show. I was looking through BBC iPlayer. And I came across a show called Freezing the Fear with Wim Hof. So, have you ever heard of Wim Hof? Does that name ring any bells to you?
No, but you.
Okay, so
I may have forgotten.
Yeah. When I say it, you may know. You may know. Oh, yeah, that guy. So, Wim Hof. I've got his Wikipedia page in front of me, so I'll read it. So, also known as the Iceman. Okay, he's a Dutch guy. He's about 60 years old, something like that, and he's known as an extreme athlete. He's set numerous Guinness World Records for doing things like the longest swim under a frozen lake or the longest time in a ice bath.
Yeah.
He's climbed Everest, I think, in just his shorts. He's done marathons in ice and stuff like that. And he developed this technique called the Wim Hof method, and it's a combination of breathing and meditation, yoga, cold exposure, all that kind of stuff. And I first heard of Wim Hof probably 5 or 10 years ago. There was a documentary made by I can't remember what they were called now, but there was a sort of online TV channel sort of for young people. I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, they went to one of his retreats up in the snowy mountains somewhere, and that's how I first heard of him. And he's an advocate for cold showers and things like that. And I've been taking cold showers now for 3 to 6 months. I take a cold shower every day. Well, you have your normal shower, and for the final minute you go on full cold, and you have a cold. You finish off with a cold shower. It does all sorts of things to your physical and mental health. It really does. It's incredible, actually. And I had all sorts of ailments and all sorts of things going on, and I don't know if it's the cold showers or not, but you just feel fabulous when you get out of a cold shower. You just feel so good. It's all to do with your what they call it, neurosympathetic system, something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, you shock your body, basically.
I can imagine.
In the modern world, we live comfortable. We're always warm. We've always got food. We're always comfortable. So our sort of natural ability to deal with stresses is gone away. But doing things like cold showers or jumping into an ice cold lake and stuff like that switches all that stuff on, and you release all these hormones, and it's really, really good, really, really good. So I've been doing that for quite a few months now, and I recommend giving it a try. But yeah, it looks like he's gone really mainstream, and he's doing this show on the BBC called Freezing the Fear with Wim Hof, and there's a bunch of celebrities, and they've gone off to his retreat, and they all have to do all these challenges like ice baths and cold showers and all that kind of stuff. So it's on the BBC. I don't know if you can find it anywhere else. I managed to get it on a VPN. But yeah, that's really, really entertaining stuff. So look up Wim Hof. Fascinating. Really fascinating stuff. So yeah, I'm about halfway through that series at the moment, watching that pretty much live. It's on at the moment in the UK. Cool. So that's really interesting stuff. Yeah. And I'm reading a book on a similar topic, but I'll come to that later. That's me done for what I've been watching.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. We've been out and about and watching stuff in cinemas and also on the telly. I'll start with the end of Slow Horses. I don't keep going on about it, but the first series is now finished, the 6th episode, which corresponds with McHerron's first book, which is good and bad about it. With my terrible memory, it's fine, because I'd forgotten a lot of things that were in the series. But I did happen to remember what happened at the end, frustratingly enough, just as it was about to happen in the final episode. But sparkling performances from all involved. Sparks flew between Gary Oldman and Christian Scott Thomas in the scenes that they had together. It was just some of the best interaction I've seen between two actors for quite a long time.
A couple of good actors there, though, eh?
Oh, yeah, you kind of expect it, I have to say, but and the
it's the chemistry,
situation,
isn't it? It's the chemistry that does it, yeah.
But the Heron's writing and the situation they're in, something good's going to happen, and it does. So, yeah, I can't stop recommending it. It's great. And now I want series 2 to come out. It has been filmed allegedly, but I don't think there's a date yet for release. It's another 6 episodes, and it's the second book, which fortunately I've forgotten all about, or at least I think I have. So hopefully I won't be remembering any of that.
And that's on Apple TV, right?
It's on Apple TV, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And the other 2 things that I want to talk about is that we've been looking at are 2 films that, if you were sitting there at Christmas time, all full of chicken and roasty dinners and Christmas pudding and stuff, and you've got the port out and all that kind of thing, and you say, what's on the telly? A couple of films that you think, oh yeah, that's just the job, or Boxing Day, something like that. You think, a film. These will be films that if they do come on, you can watch them. They're not going to stress you out. They are going to give you laughs and excitement, and but not too much.
Yeah, steady on.
Steady on, Jeff. So the first one is, you could see the grey hairs queuing up for this one when we went, including myself, of course. Called The Duke. It's about a time when the government in the UK acquired a painting by Francisco Goya of the Duke of Wellington and paid £140,000 for it back in the day. So it was a crap load of money, really. And the main character in The Duke is played by Jim Broadbent. He's a guy called Kempton Bumpton. And his main thing is protesting that TV licenses should be free for pensioners. It's his thing. And he drives his wife, who's played by Helen Mirren, absolutely mad that he continues with this ridiculous obsession of his. However, it's nothing compared to when he hears about the fact that the government has spent 140 grand on this painting, which he thinks is a complete waste of money. And I won't go too much further into it, but it transpires that the painting is stolen. And it's all about what happens about that. I'm not going to say too much more on that, but it's a ripping yarn, as it were.
I saw them. They were on Graham Norton. Saw them on Graham Norton talking about it. Yeah, look, they showed a few clips. Yeah, it looks good. Good.
It's good fun. And a James Bond klaxon here. That painting has a brief appearance in Dr. No.
Wow.
As Sean Connery walks past in the villain's lair, and it's on an easel as he walks up the stairs. And he sort of so it must have been back in the exactly that time when, because it is true the painting was disappeared for a while, and this is obviously a nod in the film.
Nerdy fact there.
That it's like, so that's where it is.
Yeah.
that's who stole it. The supervillain. Well, it wasn't a supervillain, as if you watch the film, you'll find out. So that was cool. Again, at the cinema, we went in the comfy chairs. I watched that. The other one that I saw, which also has a James Bond klaxon, we'll come to that in a minute, is a film with a rather unedifying title of Operation Mincemeat. Go see a film called that. But it's what the secret operation was called. So and it's there's a Ben McIntyre book written about this particular episode of the Second World War, whereby what is happening is that the British are trying to confuse the Germans. They don't want anyone to know that the next phase of the war will be via Sicily and up through Italy. They want the Germans to think that it will be via Greece. And there's all sorts of misinformation going on. The way they decide to do it in the end is that they get a corpse and trick it out in the right kind of clothing and give the corpse a whole invented history a love life, a job, all that kind of stuff. Equip him with a briefcase full of vital plans to invade Greece and dump him in the sea off Spain and hope that he floats in onto the beach and get discovered by fascists who will then inform the Germans that, oh my God, the next phase of the war is going to be in Greece. And it's all about that and how the British go about doing this. And it's absolutely stuffed full of acting talent. And I shall just, name a few, as it were. Colin Firth, Kelly MacDonald, the lovely Kelly MacDonald, Matthew McFadyen, Jason Isaacs and Simon Russell Beale, who were both in The Death of Stalin. Simon Russell Beale was Stalin and is Churchill in this film, so he's really hitting the big roles there.
Yeah.
Johnny Flynn's in it, who the name might not be immediately apparent, but
I know who that is. Yeah,
you recognise him as James Bond collection, the actual Ian Fleming.
Wow.
In the film, doing his job in wartime and sneaking this is not really a spoiler, and sneaking little bits of time during his day to start writing things that were spy related whilst he's doing this particular job.
Wow.
And there's one great bit which is a kind of a nod to Q in the Bond films, which I'm not going to say anything more about. But again, it's just a rattling good yarn that you could be watching on a Boxing Day. Great acting. I've heard some protests that you get slightly diverted from the plot, that there's a bit of a love story going on. Well, yeah, there is. Otherwise, it would be a little drier than it is now. So that just adds, a little bit more interest for everyone.
Bit of spice.
Really. Yeah, it's cool. It's otherwise it would have been over in an hour as well. Yeah. Let's have a rounded story. Let's just not have the bit about the misinformation. So if that sounds like not anyone's street, I fully recommend it and enjoyed that a great deal. Yeah. Good
recommendations. Okay, good stuff. So that just leaves books.
Yeah.
Now I'm not the most voracious reader. I'm quite a slow reader, I think, and I certainly don't read every day. But I've just finished a book. I've been on it for ages. It's quite a big book. It's like a 600-page job. But it's a book that not only you recommended, you actually sent it to me in the post. Well, you may have discussed it on here before. Certainly discussed this author on here before. The book is called Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell. Yeah. Not that David Mitchell.
No.
David Mitchell. And I just finished it yesterday. I really, really liked it a lot.
Cool.
It's about a fictional rock band, for want of a better expression, a fictional band in the mid to late 60s in London. And it's set in amongst that scene, so all the real people of that era feature in this book. David Bowie and Brian Jones and Janis Joplin, and all these people appear in the book in little sort of cameo roles, if you like, which is quite interesting. In fact, if I was, really critiquing the book, the only thing I would say about some of those, they were a bit gratuitous. It's just like, I need to put John Lennon in the book, so here's a bit about John Lennon. It didn't add anything.
A party,
So they were a little bit gratuitous and probably unnecessary, but they kept it interesting. Suddenly David Bowie or Frank Zappa or someone just appears. But it was really, really good. It's a good recommendation, that, Captain, and I would definitely recommend it. Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I did sort of dock it a point for that sort of gratuitousness, but as you say, it places them in that era. Yeah, it does.
Because you can imagine if they're at a party at Janis Joplin's house, it really puts you in the scene. You can imagine what it was like. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's cool. The bits that were slightly odd, although maybe not in terms of the 60s, were basically the woozy drug-addled bits of the writing of trips and things like that, where strange things are going off in the person's head. It's definitely a throwback to the 60s. But without going too deeply into it, there's also slightly odd bits about with the guitarist's mental health. Let's put it that way. which are a little bit strange. Allegedly, it links back to previous things in the David Mitchell canon.
I was just going to say
including the book that I gave up on,
Cloud Atlas.
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily know of the connections that were made.
Yeah, because after I finish reading it, which I do with books, I don't read too much about the book, and because I want to avoid spoilers. But once I finished it, I went looking, for reviews and things like that. Yeah, apparently there are many references to David Mitchell's other works in there.
Yeah,
lots of them. Which is,
but you don't need them.
No, you don't need them.
Particularly,
but I didn't know they were there because I haven't read any of his other books, But things like that. But no, I really enjoyed it. It's quite a big book. But so that's done. And I've started a new book, which is you might laugh at me for this, I don't know, but it's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, yeah.
Tolle.
Oh, I heard the name.
It's one of those books you see in the hippie section in the bookshop. It's one of those books. A guide to spirituality and all that, spiritual enlightenment and all that nonsense, which I don't buy into. I don't buy into all that spiritual stuff, but I do believe that our brains are capable of far more than we use them for. And I've been sort of looking at all this kind of stuff. I talked about Wim Hof and the cold showers and all that stuff earlier. Just over the recent months, really, I've been looking into that. I started doing yoga and thinking about meditation and all that kind of stuff. I've become a bit interested. It's just a phase, but I've become a bit interested in how far we can push our minds. But I don't believe in spirits and all that kind of nonsense. Purely 100% atheist here. But I do think we can do a bit more with our brains than we do. So this book is all about that and living in the now and being and meditation and all that kind of stuff. So I'm reading that. So watch this space. I'll let you know how that goes, unless I go off onto another plane somewhere.
Yes, well. I look forward to what you take from it when you've finished.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been going through a bit of a tricky book period at the moment because I normally read before sleep. It just gets me off nicely. But I don't know. I haven't really felt like picking up a book when I'm going to bed. I just felt like going to sleep. So, but I have got, because on social media I saw it and I thought that looks cool. Looks like something I might need. A biography of Nick Cave's early years called Boy on Fire, written by a guy called Mark Mordew, who seems to have had good interaction with Mr. Cave over the past recent years, and gathered lots of useful information, although he does allude to the fact that a lot of it either went missing or wasn't collated properly for some reason. So I wonder if there'll be a follow-up, Volume 2. I have read that this is a Volume 1. It goes up to about 1980. So I don't think he's into the bad seeds quite. It's all about the birthday party and the boys next door, and when he was still mostly in Australia, I think. So, as I know, we have Melburnians who listen in. I would recommend it for Melburnians, Nick Cave fans, and people who are both, and generally people who are into music. Seems quite detailed at the moment. It's going back into his history in the rural towns surrounding Melbourne, and his dad. So yeah, I'm not going to say too much more about that, but I'm getting deeper into it as we go, although not quite as quickly as I normally would.
Yep.
That's the book I'm into at the moment.
There is one thing that's just sprung into my mind, which we probably should have done at the start as part of admin, but we won't talk about Elon Musk too much on Twitter. But you and I have both found another platform, haven't we?
Yeah.
Alongside Twitter. And I think you know more about it than I do, so tell us what you know.
Okay, what I know. I'm still really getting used to it. I haven't left Twitter at all, but I thought it would be nice to have a sort of a reset. And in that sort of text chat environment, the network is called Mastodon. It's run by a bunch of admins on a lot of separate servers, and you sign up for an account on a server that you like. It seems to have lots of like-minded people on it, so I think we both pitched into one of the NZ ones. And it's like the early days. There are no ads. It's moderated, so you don't see idiots. But everyone on there seems interested in engaging and not in a negative way. So we'll just persist with that. I don't know if we'll launch only a podcast on that. Probably not at the moment. I think we've probably reached far enough. The fact that we're on there is probably good enough. But the folks I've met in inverted commas so far all seem really great and interested in conversing in a sort of social way, funnily enough, for social networks.
Funny that, yeah. So, if anyone out there is on Mastodon, try and come find us.
Go look for us, or just email us at on your podcast, or find us. If you can't find us on there, we'll tell you where we are.
I don't know how it works. Obviously, you sign up for a server, but is it global? So I can follow someone on a different server? Is that how it works?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's all linked in that way. But the bit you're on might have a separate moderator from. Right. Well, it does. There's a separate moderator from the rest of the world. Right. So it gives the ability to screen out the stuff that we want to screen out.
Yep. Oh, good.
Whereas Twitter is just some giant bun fight
exactly.
at times.
Yeah.
This is not. It's cool. It's very sedate. It's very.
It's very nice.
Together.
It's very
together,
nice.
man.
Yeah, it's the local pub. Yeah. Okay. Right. We've done everything.
I think we're done for this one. Yeah.
We have. Although I do need to tell you, I've been having a few hearing problems lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I had to go to the doctors to say I'm having a few hearing problems. He said to me, "Can you describe the symptoms?" I said, "Well, they're a fictional cartoon family from Springfield, Homer, Marge, and the kids, but I don't really know what that's got to do with my hearing problems." And I just left. Quack. Yeah. I think we've said enough. So
probably.
Yeah. Say goodbye, Captain.
Yeah, goodbye, Captain.
See you later, folks. Tune in next time for some stuff. We don't know what it'll be yet, but we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Bye.
You've been listening to Only a Podcast. If you would like to get in touch and share your feedback and ideas, we'd love to hear from you. Go to onlyapodcast.com, or you can find us at Only a Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, or via our Facebook page. Remember, it's only a podcast.